So we at SMK are all about campaigning and social change. And a couple of years ago, we were asked to answer the question, how can those with lived experience of poverty and inequality better make their voices heard by decision makers? And we did initially think that rather assumes that they don't. And we know as an organisation that lots of campaigns are led by people with lived or first-hand experience. We set out to answer that question and see where it could take us. And 2 years later, we're here to share with you where we have arrived. Well, the idea that people with lived or first-hand experience of poverty and other forms of inequality have an essential perspective on how best to change things, largely unthinkable not so long ago, is now firmly on the table, and people are speaking up, rightly making demands to be included. And of course, many working in the social sector hope to be better allies, but don't always know how best to go about it. So over the last 2 years, we at SMK have hosted an inquiry, the Power Project, which brought together people with both first-hand and professional experience of poverty, inequalities and social change, and many had a mix of both. So we began with the question, how can we grow the voice of those with lived experience of poverty and inequality? Which on the face of it was a good question. But in conversations with people from across civil society, every aspect of it was actually challenged, from the language it uses to the assumptions that it reveals. And those challenges shed light on how, despite often very good intentions, attempts to work in solidarity often fall woefully short. So we know that there is a genuine desire amongst organisations like charities and faith groups and others to find more equitable ways of working with people who profoundly understand the consequences of inequality. And many, of course, have been set up to do that, to work equitably with, to routinely employ and use resource to support the involvement of people with first-hand experience. But others are still struggling to shift established ways of working and thinking, and as a result, partnerships can be tokenistic or even exploitative, which means that many simply don't find the social sector a welcoming or useful place through which to seek change, and as a result, they're choosing to work apart, which is a loss for all of us. It reduces our collective power to create change, and it misses the opportunity to combine people's first-hand knowledge with the resource, capabilities and reach of social sector organisations. Without a rethink, we believe that many organisations face an existential threat. Alienated from the very people they were created to support, they risk losing legitimacy and even perpetuating the very inequalities they work to tackle. We found that there is no checklist, no sticking plaster, or no job that you could create that would solve this challenge alone. And the changes are as much in how we think as in what we do. And they are fundamental and need to happen in every part of our organisations. And they will be different for each one of us. We each need to formulate our own prescription and commit to that continuous journey. And it also begins with every one of us thinking about our own power, whatever role we're in or the issue we're working on. But the good news is that you're not on your own, and there is a way you can start. And our new book, It's All About Power, is designed to help you do just that. Building out from the individual, it will give you the ideas and tools you need to interrogate how you work and what you can start to change, which hopefully will help you start a conversation with your colleagues about why we all need to think differently about power. The Power Lens offers a bird's eye view of the different nested systems that make up society and reveal the way in which power flows through and between them all, from all of us as individuals to society as a whole. And then the Power Framework is designed to help you build power awareness into your conversations and decisions, and to plan strategic action to help you examine how power is manifesting in different situations and where you can create greater solidarity for a single event or an entire organisational strategy. Well, we think it's time to move on from outmoded ideas of charity and philanthropy. Our vision at SMK is of a powerful civil society working together effectively and without constraint, enabled by organisations that accept the power they have and use it consciously and sensitively, and that work in true solidarity with those most affected to make the changes they most need. By starting a new conversation about power at the very heart of social sector organisations, We believe that wider civil society can become far more than the sum of its parts and unleash our collective power to create change.